great songs too. Next, I want to invite to the stage Larry Jaffe, who is internationally known and award-winning writer, author, and poet. For his entire professional career, he has been using his art to promote human rights. He is the author of 5 books and read in such distinguished locations as Japanese American Museum, the Hammer Museum and Museum of Tolerance, the Jewish Museum and the Museum of Literature in Prague, and the Dylan Thomas Center in Wales. Please welcome Larry Jaffe.
Thank you, Olga. Shalom, shalom.
Hello.
I don't always need one of these. Loud, proud. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Cool. So in 1911, my great-grandmother Pesci went from Moscow to Germany to the United States with 6 children. This was one tough lady. She was following my great-grandfather George, who moved from Moscow to Schenectady, New York. And my great-grandmother followed him with 6 children, which I still believe to this moment. They had a little push cart selling I don't know what. And she was supposed to have a license for this push cart. She didn't have one, and the cops tried to bust her. She hit the cop over the head with her pocketbook, chased him away, and my grandfather, which came over when he was 6. So I know a little bit about this. I hate war. It makes me so angry. Just infuriates me. So my poetry is usually centered around human rights, and sometimes a little bit anti-war. But before I do that, I have a couple of poets that I really respect a lot, and I'd like to read some of their work. This first poem is by Natalie Handel. It's called Even. She's a Palestinian poet. Yes, nice Jewish boys have friends that are Palestinian poets. It's called Even. Nothing is even. Even this line I am writing, even this line I am waiting in, waiting for permission to enter the country, the house, the room. Nothing is even. Even now that laws have been drawn and peace is discussed on high tables. And even if all was said to be even, I would not believe, for even I know that nothing is even. Not the trees, the flowers, not the mountains or the shadows. Our nature is not even, so why even try to get even? Instead, let us find an even better place and call it even. Natalie Handel. This is a really dear friend of mine. His name is Ilya Kaminsky. He comes from Odessa. He had mumps when he was 4 or 5 years old, so he's a deaf poet. But he wears his words right on his tongue. His heart is right there. And this is called Dancing in Odessa. We live north of the future. Days opened, letters with a child's signature, a raspberry, a page of sky. My grandmother threw tomatoes from her balcony. She pulled imagination like a blanket over my head. I painted my mother's face. She understood loneliness, hid the death in the earth like partisans. The night undressed as I counted its pulse. My mother danced. She filled the past with peaches, casseroles. At this, my doctor laughed. His granddaughter touched my eyelid. I kissed her back of her knee. The city trembled. A ghost ship setting sail, and my classmate invented 20 names for Jew. He was an angel. He had no name. We wrestled, yes. My grandfathers fought the German tanks on tractors. I kept a suitcase full of Brodsky's poems. The city trembled, a ghost ship setting sail. At night I rode, I woke to whisper, yes, we lived, yes, don't say it was a dream. At the factory, my father took a handful of snow, put it in my mouth. The sun began a routine narration, whitening their bodies. Mother, father, dancing, moving as the darkness spoke behind them. It was April. The sun washed the balconies. April, I retell the story. The light etches into my hand. Little book, go to the city with me. Thank you. And I'm sure Elia thanks you too. He's a great guy. This is called Soldiers of a Casual War. He's a soldier of a casual war, a war without defense brought about by contagion of international insanities, of too much brinksmanship and all too many political shenanigans. He lays down his life for his country and his fellows, comrades in arms. He puts his life on the line for you. You forget appreciation, wearing contempt, a cloak of arrogance, hiding true selves in suspicious scorn. You know your disdain by authoring additional wars, as if the ones we fight are not enough. You forget the brutality as drink coffee made from beans picked by slaves. How dare you, he wonders, how dare you? I feel for the soldiers sent to fight someone else's battles. As you pose for the latest Hollywood puffery, while you tweet what you had for breakfast, I stare into the somber eyes of the combat soldier and see so much pain. The pain he inflicted forever lodged in his memories. The pain he received, tormenting him for eternities. As he fights unknown enemies, he bleeds electronically so he cannot feel. He is an automaton so he cannot fail. He exclaims, we are not soldiers you hired. We are your children, implanted with cold, blank eyes of the mercenary. Humanity vanquished, forever treading upon our own morality. We are different. We are not born killers. But you transfused hate into our blood, making mockery of ancestor armies. He is a soldier of a distant war, fought in someone else's backyard. He lays down his life. He lays down his guard in believing in mankind, believing in the dream, believing in you, believing in you. Thank you. How to Change the World in 10 Easy Lessons. A man speaks to himself, will you calm down? Will you please calm down? Please just sit there calmly without glandular distraction. Please, he says to himself, almost begging, calm down. He vainly attempts to slow his heart beating. His mind is deep into corruptive sequences. He needs to slow the pulsations to the point that he can finally cope with them. He wants to arrest that rhythm in some sort of oral hieroglyphics so he can tell what his heart is really saying. And write it on his sleeve for all to see tattooed to an act of grace without contrition. He again commands to himself, his outer coat, overcoat self, will you please calm down? Divert your attention from wars of words to peace. He knows that in order for there to be peace on earth, there has to be peace in him, at least to start. He is a vain man, thinking that he can slow down the death beat of earth and give it calmness from his own heart. His vanity encircles the globe. Don't mind the poetic litter, it's healthy. His mind endeavors, his spirit never lacks. He finds himself extremely conceited and believes that he can do that. If he finally comes down, there will be peace on earth. He runs at the frantic pace of stampeding lust and visits the earth daily. Will you please calm down, he mutters, half shriek, half silence, through heavily gritted teeth. His fingers tensely wrapped around chair arms, his arms rigid with fear. No, not fear, anger. No, not really anger. It is as if the emotions of the world are his blood, pumping through his veins made of stone, eroding the core of existence, that he feels them all and thinks he will implode from the experience. So he searches for his calm spot, his oasis, his peace, knowing it has been overrun by barbarians and pillaged. They are only people, he softly sighs, genetically human beings that leap from side to side as the fence digs squarely, and they cannot straddle it no more. They're only human, he sighs more deeply. The resonance carrying over, transforming his personal diatribe into more plea than bargain. When he walks down the street, he thinks he will be arrested for what he knows, for what he feels. His corpuscles burst with knowledge. These are the acts of desperation of a living man. These are those who seek love as an act of war, their significant enemy, not their other. There are those who seek themselves in personal vendetta, castrating their minds with thoughts. He is not such a man, but he must exercise his demons in poetry. Thank you. Transformation piece. He realized one morning just before he awoke that he had the gift of peace. A look, a smile, a nod of appreciation, and that it took more guts to look a soldier in the eye, place a flower in the barrel of his rifle than it did to shoot him. He paused in his thoughts and realized we all have this gift of peace. Thank you very much. And Olga, thank you so much for inviting me here tonight. You are doing an incredible job. In Yiddish, we call it a mitzvah. So, thank you. Transformed warrior. In the warrens of the worlds left barren and repugnant, I emerge the warrior. Where I once sought obliteration, I now seek harmony. Where I once delivered force, I now seek and deliver harmony. I am a warrior transformed twice. I am a warrior no longer fighting for justice and equivocation. I am a warrior without destruction, a tongue without flames. Who can seek my destiny? Who can deliver my integrity? I no longer seek to right wrongs, redress hate. I demonstrate love and passion when hate will no longer do. I am my own man. My own beingness shine to the world. I shirk the duties of the warrior and wear the integrity of the samurai newly defined. Thank you. This is called Please Let Me Dream. Please let me dream that all children smile and that they never go hungry and are never abused, even in jest. Please let me dream that war was just a nightmare and I will wake up soon. Please let me dream that flowers never die. Please let me dream that when you kissed my cheek, I did not disappear. Thank you. So I got to thinking, With all this incredible technology that we have available to us these days, why isn't there an application for peace, aka the Peace app? To those that run the world into the ground, I hereby submit an application for peace. To those that run around in circles and declare the sky has fallen, I hereby submit an application for peace. This is not just any application. It is an application that runs on multiple platforms and is totally secure from hackers and warmongers. In short, it enhances everyone's security. This is my application for peace. At first glance, it may not seem to be for everyone, or that it may not be a panacea for lost causes. But the truth is, the Peace app is the silver bullet. It will destroy disease, mayhem, and corruption. It will eradicate terrorism forever. It will be more powerful than a lobbied Congress or a president with secret agendas. Immediately upon downloading, a bluish light will halo your computer. Your files will miraculously be put in order. Your enemies will become your friends. Your friends will be like family. Your family will have no contentions. The blue light will hold hands and circle the planet. This is the Peace app. The Peace app will go viral and set the record for downloads. Actually, that was the last line. Thank you. This is dedicated to the people of the Ukraine. It's called Speak to Me from Open Wounds. Speak to me from open wounds and how memories are lost. It is a luxury to laugh out loud. It is a luxury to eat bad food. It is a luxury to still have neighbors. It is a luxury to be able to cry. It is a luxury to hug your children. It is not a luxury to fight back. It is not a luxury to still have hope. It is not a luxury to have strong spirit. It is not a luxury to be victorious. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Shalom, shalom. Can I get somebody to help me pick up my litter?
Thank you very much for beautiful poetry.